We're having Echo sit at every doorway, just like this. So this is the main entrance to this house. We have her sit out there, we step in, we step back. She waits till I come back next to her. I say, okay. And she walks in without pulling through the doorway. And we go through this doorway 6, 7, 8 times a day with her. And we do it the same way also on the way out, which we'll show you at the end of this video clip. And the purpose is to do a little bit of training whenever we have her. So when we bring her outside, that's an opportunity to train. And you should do the same thing. You don't want to let her pull you around and go crazy at doorways. Boundary training is really important. When you just control the boundaries like that, you have her sit, you step in or you step out first, just to accentuate the fact that that's your boundary. And then she waits till you come back next to her. She doesn't go through without walking with you calmly like you see she's walking through with me. That's a huge thing, that if you just did that alone, much less doing all these other things, that would change her in your environment. Just getting used to you controlling the boundaries like that and not pulling you around. And that's obviously a sit-stay, where she sits and stays there until you come back to get her. So it's a real helpful thing to do. It takes you an extra 5 seconds to do, rather than let her pull you through the doorway like she was before. So I'd highly recommend you do that whenever you can. Actually, every time in the last 10 days, since she's been with me, I've done it. We've all done it every single time. So you see how much has been done in 10 days. Just think if you keep doing it, how much better she could be. Okay, so we're going to go do this now. So I'm going to walk her up to her mat. I'm going to do a little left turn here, just like that. Sit. Whenever I need to position her somewhere, I use my body to get her there instead of pulling her and, controlling her with a leash, because a tight leash will make her stressed out and overexcited, and that's her whole issue. So we have her sit in front of the mat. She's on my left. With your right hand, you want to say, go to your mat, and then walk her over and say, down. If she doesn't go down right away, you can just lower her down like that. She will sometimes and other times not, because of course she's not finished with the program. She just started. No. Good. But this video, of course, is to show you how far she's gotten in 10 days and what to continue doing at home so that she keeps getting better and better. So when she's on the mat, you want to do these little good walk-arounds first. And I really like it when she's in the middle of the mat, so you can either lure her, come on, like this, which will work sometimes and other times it doesn't. Come on. Lure her to be straight. And if she's not hungry enough, like today she's not really that hungry. I think we fed her this morning or something, or maybe she ate a lot last night. But if that's not working, then you just reposition her. Okay. Do a little left circle like this. Take her back. Try it again. Down. Try to get her. See, that's so much better. Good. As soon as her elbows hit the mat, good. In a down, I gave her a piece of reward, this Natural Balance sausage. That's what we're using. Good. And she's taking the reward off the mat. So I'm holding it just like this, and I'm placing it on the mat. She waits until I withdraw. She takes it off the mat. I'm going to do it to the side so you can see this. Good. See, that's exactly how you do it. If she tries to take it out of your hand or something like that, you pull back and say no, no, no. She knows what that means already. And you'll get this. Good. If you do it the way that we've set her up to do it now. Just keep doing it this way. Don't throw the food down. Don't move, jerky movements. Good. Just calm, deliberate movements. She'll only be as calm as the person that's handling her. Remember that really she behaves according to how she's handled by the people in her environment, which is why you see this here just after a short period of time. So that's why you want to keep doing things this way if you want her to change. If you don't change the way you're handling her in your environment, and of course in the delivery lesson I'll show you what I think you should do there, but if you don't change, you do the stuff you used to do, you're going to get her the way she used to be. So unfortunately, that's the dirty secret in dog training, is that good. The dog behaves according to how the people handle her. She'll always be great here, and every time she comes to visit us, if you send her back to us, she'll get better and better. But you need to continue it at your house so that you see the same results over time. So that's what we call a down stay. That's where a dog's in a down. You can walk around all the way around both ways. She accepts that. Hey, look, right here. Good. And she's a puppy, obviously. She's only 4 or 5 months old. So the goal is to teach her how to think. The goal is to do these exercises so that the byproduct of doing it this way when she's on free time is that she's calmer just overall. So that's why we're doing it good in these specific ways. Now once you've gotten this far, which is pretty good, you can try things that are more difficult to handle. So at the end of this clip, which we got like another 2 minutes left, I'm going to do some things that she hasn't been able to do yet here. She would be able to do it if she was here for the full program, but she's not. So she's going to make a mistake. I'm going to show you how to correct that mistake and teach her something and move forward so that you can do this at home. Now we're going to try some things that are more difficult for her to handle, like opening the front door and stepping out with the front door wide open. And she stayed there. Good. Good. And every time I do something, I'm going to make it a little bit harder for her to handle. Closing the front door behind me, and she stayed there. No, that made her get up. So that's a sticking point right now, is the front door. And see how she gets really overstimulated? You have to be careful with that. Put her back. Down. You can remind her what to do if you're about to do something that's difficult for her to handle right before you do it. Obviously, we don't say stay anymore, but when you're teaching her in the beginning, good. If you're working on something that's difficult, you're allowed to say that in the beginning until she gets it. So now I'm going to close the door. Down. And open the door. Good. That time she stayed there. Good. I gave her a double reward. So the first time she popped up, the second time she stayed there, she got a double reward. Now I'm closing it again. Good. More rewards. Good. One more thing. Ring the doorbell. Good. Big reward. That's how you, oh, she got up. That's not right. I'm going to always put her back. I just stood on that leash to put her back. Good. So that almost ended perfectly, except at the last second she popped up. But that's how we add new things to this exercise, always pushing the envelope, making it a little bit harder each time, and working through it. She makes a mistake, you put her back, you try it again, maybe she makes a mistake 2 or 3 times in a row, and then she gets a reward, and you move on to something else. Good. Or you end on that success, and you come back to it tomorrow and do a little bit more. That's what we're going to do here. So we're ending on a success. She's never been able to stay down on the mat before when I've gone outside. Good. So we're going to end on that. And the way you bring her off this mat is you come stand back next to her just like you would in real life. Anything she learns on this mat, this downstay, in a few more weeks of doing this on the mat, like 2 more weeks, if you were to continue this, she'll do this without the mat, on the sidewalk, out in your yard, or on just, in a room in your house, wherever. Because whatever she learns on the mat, she'll start being able to do in real life, anywhere. But when you're going to come back and get her, she's waiting for you to come back next to her, you say, okay, pat your leg. In this case, we're going to bring her up to the front door, sit, do this boundary training thing again. We have her sit, step out. Okay, take her back out, have her sit outside, sit, gently but firmly make sure that she sits, and then pat her chest and say, go. I took the leash off, and now she gets a little free time out in the yard. Sit. Good. We never repeat the command. If she had not sat when I told her the first time, I just would have pulled up with a little bit of pressure. No jerking, popping, no hanging, just gentle but firm. Her butt would have gone down and I would have released that pressure. And all she knows is that she hears the command once and she ends up there. So you do that, and then you can step away because we've taught her to stay there while we step away and walk around her. This is the basic sit stay, which she already has after just this short, partial period of time. If she gets up before you release her, you say no. You step into her and do a reset with your body. See how I'm stepping into her? And just do that little bit of pressure. And then you make her do it all over again until she gets it right. And at the end, she gets a reward when she gets it right. So you walk around both ways. At the end, she's waiting for you to come back next to her with your reward in your right hand. She's looking up at you, really important, eye contact. It's really easy for you. Just like this, straight down, good. She's looking at me in the eyes as she takes the reward. Seems like a little thing, but it's really important. You have a much stronger reward when there's eye contact when you're giving her food, in this case, in the sit stay. And then there's two ways to release her out of that sit stay. You can either pat her chest and say, go, and she'll just go and she's free. Or if you want to walk with her, okay, and she'll walk with you. And then whenever you're walking, okay, always walk into her like this. Use your body so the leash stays loose. See how when I'm using my body, the leash stays loose. If she lags behind you, okay, come on. Coax her to catch up. If she's going ahead of you, just do these little prompts. It's just like tapping the brakes. There's nothing rough. There's no pain. There's no corrections, really. It would be inappropriate to correct because she doesn't know that she's not doing it right. So this is about teaching her, not about causing her pain or stress because she made a mistake or whatever. And obviously she's a little puppy. She's very sensitive. And she's easily overstimulated because when she gets really excited, she's play biting and grabbing and things like that. So you want to do this training so that you get more of this, and you see how if you start working with her every day like I have been, just the last week and a half, you see that she starts to change and she's calmer more. There's more calmness in her life, and gradually what happens is the calm periods get bigger and bigger and the crazy periods get smaller and smaller because of the way you've been training her, because we're developing her mind. We're teaching her how to think, how to focus. And that's what builds up a tolerance to stress and excitement and happiness and wanting to play, or somebody comes home from work or whatever. That's stress. It's overstimulation. It's overexcitement. It might be happy stress, but it's still stress. And this dog goes bonkers and wants to grab everything and grab your hands and do all that kind of stuff. So you want to do a lot of work with her when you can during the day so that you get more of this calm dog and less of the crazy Echo. Okay. I just want to break down the mechanics of calling her to come to you, just step by step. I think it's a lot easier if you do it the same way every time. Hold the leash the same way, the treat in your hand, and just the way that you do it, because then you practice that for a while, and then it's like second nature. And here's a real effective way to do it. I always hold the leash in my right hand. It's over my right hand, on my left hand. My left hand over my wrist. There's no way that you could possibly lose her. That hand is free then. So you can use that to do whatever you want. The right hand is the reward, and you want to call her to this target. It's a fist, little fist here, because in real life, after you practice this for a few weeks, she'll come to this every time. It doesn't have to have a treat in it. She won't know that there's no treat in there. After you call her to you a few hundred times, which you could easily do in a couple of weeks, she won't know why she wants to come to this. She'll just know that everything good happens when she comes here. And I'll show you why she thinks that in a second. And also, when you're practicing her recall, her come to you, always practice with her being distracted by something. If you're in a situation where she won't stop looking at you, and this will happen more and more if you do the training like we've been doing, we started out for you, she'll always just be waiting for the next command and looking at you like you're, in charge, like you're important. So you're going to have to create a distraction because you want to be calling her away from something. Even her looking this way, you want her to hear that command and come running back to you. So don't practice calling her to you when she's just staring at you lovingly, because that's not going to help you in a real life situation. You always want to practice in a way that's as close to real life as possible. In real life, she's going to be running on the street. She's going to be going towards something that is gross on the ground, or whatever, jumping on an elderly person, whatever it's going to be. So you want to practice calling her away from something. So I'm going to create a distraction. Echo, look at this. Hey here. So here's a distraction. Go, and then call her away from this. Come. And she didn't pick it up even. Good. See how she came to my hand? It opened up. I gave it to her. I said, good. Let's do this again. Echo, look up here, silly. Go. Treat. Come. Good. See how when you back away, she rushes to you? And we're doing this inside because it's really hot outside today, but it's still enough in a big enough space to show you how to do this. It doesn't matter where you are. You call her to come, you back away, and she's going to rush to you. If you stand still, it's not half as good. And so if you want her to always run to you later on when your back is to a wall or you're standing at a curb or whatever and you can't back away, practice this way when you can, and then in real life she'll still rush to you because this is the way you practiced every time. Let's do it one more time. Go. There's her distraction. Come. Good. See how my left hand at the same moment that I gave her the treat with my right, my left hand grabbed the leash. Always do that so that then you have her. She can't take the treat and then decide to run away again. And then you saw me step into her, and if you wanted to have her sit, you'd say sit, which she's starting to do automatically already, but you should always say sit. And then you can walk her somewhere or release her again and do it again. I'm bringing Echo into the house in the usual way. She doesn't know that there's a new person that she doesn't even know standing right here, and I'm going to show you how I deal with that. Okay. And I'm expecting her to get excited when she sees this new person. Sit. She's doing actually very well. I wanted to show you the greeting routine. So I have her sit, I step over to the new person, give her a little treat, come back next to Echo with my right hand. I pat her chest and say, go say hi. She gets a treat. She would get petted with the other hand as well. No, the other hand, come. The other hand, you have a left hand as well. Sit. Treat. She gets the treat and then petted at the same time. Go say hi. Good, there you go. Come, call her back to you. She gets really overstimulated. You see a little bit of that coming out right now. Sit with new people or going to say hi to people. She can get jumpy and nippy. So we practice this greeting routine every day. See how she waits? Go say hi. She gets a treat. She gets petted. She's got her mouth full of a treat. Come. So she has something to do with her mouth. Sit. If her mouth is filled with a treat, and it's also immediate gratification, there's no reason to nip and jump. Everything good is down here on where she has to stay on all fours. If somebody isn't down there with a treat, or at least to pet her, and with her, because of her nipping problem, I would do it with a treat. Nope. She's going to jump on that person. So when you're practicing this with your friends and family, just make sure you do it exactly like this, and this problem will go away if she's always meeting people in this way. And then also you get to call her back to you. If it's completely out of control, you call her back to come, and you see she's already got a pretty good recall. So I just started adding a little bit to this exercise. I step away from her, I give the treat to the new person, then I add a little sit stay like this on top of it, just to increase her level of focus before I send her over. Go. She gets a treat, she gets petted. Before she jumps or anything, I say, come. She comes back to me. Good. Just like the recall, just another way to practice your recall in a real life situation. Sit. So we just wanted to show you this greeting routine that we practice with different people every day. And she should have gotten really excited because we've never done it inside like this before, and she doesn't know this person, nobody's standing here, but she's already calming down, so hopefully you'll be inspired to continue this so that she just gets better and better.